Again, the order we're just going to do things just to quickly remind you guys here in the Summer Championship Korean preliminary playoffs. We're going to do this quarterfinal matchup, best of 3, and then the winner of this plays Zest in the semis. We'll go straight into that. Then we'll do the bottom half of the bracket, and then obviously the grand finals at the end of the day. So just a little bit of information to let you guys know what's up. Is in the top right-hand side, our red Zerg player is Dragon, Phoenix Gaming's Rogue. Taking on the blue Terran bottom left-hand corner from Psystorm Gaming, we have got GuMiho. Hoping we get a good series. I mean, GuMiho has been looking decent while being back, but of course he's playing against Rogue, who can be an absolute monster. But it's an online tournament, so sometimes Rogue doesn't quite show up unless he's meant to. So we will see what happens here as we get set up into our first map. Just a couple of things to mention. First of all, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please do consider hitting the like and subscribe button if you like the content you want to see when we upload more. Helps us out a whole bunch as we're trying to dig the YouTube out of a bit of a slow movement that's been ongoing for a little while. So just try and dig ourselves out of that a little bit. But thank you everybody for helping us, because I know a lot of people have been putting in the likes and the subs and stuff, so I appreciate it. The only other thing I wanted to quickly mention, guys, in fact, was quickly say as well that if you do enjoy this tournament, one of the best ways to support is the Patreon page, because this WardiTV Summer Championship isn't happening without your guys' support. We are able to put the prize money up to what it is, $7,000 altogether in the Summer Championship, thanks to you guys being very supportive on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/WardiTV. 100% of what you pledge on Patreon goes directly into our tournament prize pools. So right now, this month's Patreon and probably next month's, we'll continue to pay off Summer Championship, and then we'll have from there on out, we'll have another tournament coming up as well. The money from Patreon will start going into, so do check that out. As we can start talking more about what's going to happen in this series. I know a very exciting Overlord here, but not a lot going on around the map just yet. It's a Marine opening into a Reactor, so no Reaper. So that Reactor and Factory can be a little bit sooner. What we have seen GuMiho doing a lot is mech, but not that kind of battlecruiser mech, which is obviously more kind of the way in which people have been playing mech. But this is kind of GuMiho who's been bringing back the double Thor drop, in fact. And that's something I would be expecting to see at some point in this series, just because we have seen so much of it. So, yeah, kind of expecting a little bit of that, I suppose. As we do see some Hellions are on the way up. And they are going to be popping out very soon to start taking some map control. While on Rogue's side of the map, he takes a third hatchery, and everything looks to be pretty normal here so far, right? That's, you know, when you look at the kind of timings and everything, it is just super standard 3 base with hatch gas pools, so not really too worried or concerned about what Rogue is up to. It really is just the norm at the moment as his 2 Hellions come up and gonna take down a Zergling there. Obviously just going to check it around. We'll see this hatchery. See some Banshees starting, and that's something which has also been a thing lately. GuMiho playing these Banshee openings and going Hyperflight Rotors and getting a lot of Banshees to support his mech. So that's been another thing that we've been seeing play out a little bit as of late. As those couple of Hellions just going to pull back up towards the natural expansion. And just the Queen going to put a good block there, but the Hellions can still hit the drones. One thing to know is, I guess, that link speed was a bit later than usual, and it wasn't up at 320. Prioritizing that third base instead means no link speed, and those Hellions able to dive in, but only 4 workers. Not really that great for 4 Hellions. It was not the best trade we've ever seen. Of course, nice to do that sort of damage super early in the game, but you're also losing out on some Hellions that could have been keeping up map control and stuff, so yeah, I mean, one thing I usually say is, obviously, when you're playing mech, at least you're still building these Hellions, right? So then you still have other Hellions to take the map control with. So then it isn't as bad as if you're playing Bio and you just gave up your Hellions that you don't really want to produce too many more of. But actually, GuMiho is going to build Stimpack, so he is going to play Bio, which means he only has 4 Hellions left. In which case, I really don't know how much I like that initial play. But now this Cloak Banshee shows up, it's going to put in some work, finding 5 kills already. And that's going to fly through the main base and out through the bottom right-hand corner. So, hey, 5 workers, nice bit of damage on top of that Hellion, those Hellions killing drones earlier. And that was just the first Cloaked Banshee of the game. There is a second now out, and it's going to come join up, so the 2 Banshees will work together, trying to get further damage done. in this game number 1. So yeah, a bit of bio from GuMiho. A little bit different, a change of pace from what we have been seeing. As GuMiho in these playoffs, by the way, was not maybe expected. He was up against Zaun in the qualifying match, and he actually won that out. I won't say convincingly, but the games he won were convincing, you know? And it wasn't even anything super crazy or weird that just like, I was like, well, Zaun will never lose to that again. It was some pretty standard stuff. It's really cool to see GuMiho kind of stepping up and showing up in such a convincing manner. It was actually really nice to, well, like I say, because to me it's almost like, you know, Zaun's been on fire lately, so to, you know, take down Zaun kind of just shows you guys that GuMiho really is on the way back right now. Well, again, Hellions have tried to poke into, not really find much success at all, so they end up backing away. Hey Gemini, what's up? Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everybody. As we do have our Spire and our Baneling Nest continuing through. You're watching the WardiTV Summer Championship Korean preliminaries if you're just joining us. This is a tournament we've been running the last week or two, and leads into the main event. So all of these players qualified today. This is the playoffs. It's for $700 total prize money. But all of the players who are here today, this is just the playoffs of the preliminaries. They will also be all invited to the main tournament, which is a $4,000 event. That happens not next week, but the week after that. So we do have that coming up for you all. Look forward to that, as we are very excited to start wrapping up our Summer Championship for the year, although it barely feels like we got started, but yeah, excited to bring you guys all of the Summer Championship action. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned. Well, these Ling's gonna go scarping around to the far right-hand side, and, well, not really too much happening there. It's just gonna be seeing a whole bunch of additional Mutalisks on the way. Burrow coming up on the lad. Baneling Nest is getting Baneling speed up and running. More drones coming out, and that's an armory coming up behind this main base as well. So, I'm going to start switching this into, well, I guess just straight up into 2-2 upgrades. I forgot that his 1-1 was so quick. I see an armory, and I'm casting GuMiho, and I'm ready to talk about MECH, and I'm ready like, oh, here come the help. But no, it's actually just ready for 2-2 upgrades as he plays this bio setup, and he's already pushing up to the 12 o'clock position. Now, a massive Ling counterattack is on the way across the map. This depot needs to raise, as units are going to be somewhat there. Okay. Well, the Lings are going to run for the third base instead. At the same time, Rogue is losing the fourth. Need to show up too, though, so he just wants to cause chaos across the map, shut down reinforcements, and to be honest, it's kind of a mixed bag of feelings, because the Mutas are going to do well, but the SCVs didn't really go down in super heavy numbers. 13's obviously substantial. The Rogue also needs to deal with this attack on his side of the map, and he is just not doing that yet, as the Baneling Nest is going to go down, and it looks as though GuMiho is just in full control here. I mean, you need to be able to clean this up at some point as Rogue, and I just don't see how. I mean, the Mutas are coming back home. He's got Banshee show to be annoying. 23 workers died in total, by the way. GuMiho has a lot of units at home that he's not using, but he's just killed the Natural. I mean, I guess the Banes and the Mutas are just going to try and overwhelm, and that's what you got to do here. But enough Marines remain standing to fight the Mutalisks off, and that means that the Marines, well, they're going to cancel 1-1 upgrades, which means that now you're on your way to +2 attack. No +2 armor, a bit of a mistake from GuMiho, but you're going to be taking an even better upgrade lead than you already have set up for yourself. So Rogue in some trouble already this first game. Backfiring for him is he just, I mean, he wasn't really ready for this attack. I mean, the counterattack just didn't work. He was ready for the attack because his plan was to counterattack. But the counterattack didn't work, and so with that not working, obviously it kind of everything else fell flat on its face. Yeah, it just didn't. I mean, it worked in terms of dealing damage. He just then had to get home and be able to clean this army up too. In that stage of this game, he wasn't able to do. As we're going to be pushing forward, Queens continuing in, drones are going to be pulled. I think this is just going to be everything going down. As all these drones die off, these Mutas are in a lot of trouble. And it looks as though we are going to have ourselves GG's and GuMiho taking game number 1 of this best of 3 against Rogue. Talk about an upset. Said like he'd been supply blocked a long time, but I thought he would just been like 60 out of 62 for a long time. And I thought like being that, you know, and then and then as soon as Roddy said he's just now starting pylons, that's when Skillet started pylons as well. So maybe it was truly both of them. It was just really it was just like my brain just lined up, but like it's the sort of thing that like throws me off kind of badly as well, because like in the moment I don't know necessarily that that's the case, right? In the moment I'm like, shit, I just screwed up. So, yeah, it was kind of a little bit, I don't know, my brain, but in general, like, all day I was doing, like, silly things like that, and it was just a thing, you know? Anyways, fun day yesterday with Roddy. We had a fun time. I was in the top left-hand corner. A Blue Terran from Psystorm Gaming is GuMiho. Bottom right is going to be our Red Zerg player Rogue from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Seeing these games with any kind of actual commentary would be near impossible without me. Well, I guess so, because without me, I guess there's no WardiTV Summer Championship, right? Yeah, I guess if I'm not making the tournament, I mean someone else probably would. I think that's a I think that's one of the I think that's one of those situations, right, as well, where people are always like, "What are you such? You know, you run so much Starcraft." But I'm pretty sure if I didn't run so much, someone else would take the opportunity and fill the gaps and stuff as well. You know, I've always kind of believed in that. That's what I did. I just filled in the gaps that other people started to leave behind. And there's plenty of other fantastic community commentators out there doing a good job as well. So shout out to everybody. Brian in the Starcraft. Making this awesome game even that much more awesome. SCV is on its way back home, as we do just have our factory coming up in the main base of GuMiho, so getting that factory underway. Gas just coming through as well, so getting that additional gas up and running. And hey, for Spaniel86, thank you so much for gifting out a sub to Joe Ultra. Thank you very much for the generous gifted sub. On the 2-month resub, that one. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Just gonna see how Reaper knocking some stuff around. We see our Starport coming up. Sorry, I didn't talk much about this game, going on other rants. But yeah, I mean, just gonna be seeing the Marines jumping into a bunker and kind of just getting set up, right? Circling speed, setting up in the back of the main base. It is gonna be a Cyclone on the way, so this is definitely interesting. The factory not having a reactor to go to, so building a Cyclone first. I wonder if... So I feel like there's a couple options here. I feel like you could put the factory on the reactor after the Cyclone and build Hellions, but I feel like the other thing you could maybe do is just build some Marines and a medevac, and then you just go kind of like a Marine Cyclone drop, and it looks like that is indeed the plan. It lines up a bit better as well. Those Marines will be popping in the near future. What build did GuMiho do in game number 1? Oh, just super standard. He just went Hellion Banshee into a bio build. Nothing fancy, nothing funky. And when he attacked with his first 1-1 Marine tank timing, Rogue went for a big Ling Muta counterattack, which only killed like 10 workers, and he just could not deal with the army of GuMiho on the other side of the map, and GuMiho won the game. So it was pretty straightforward game. Nothing really, like I say. I mean, the craziest part of it was that GuMiho didn't play mech. You know, it was only crazy because we expect GuMiho to be playing mech and not bio, and yet here we are with Stimpack starting up once again. And Overlord gets picked off. It's going to be coming back around that right-hand side. You see Stim coming up, +1 attack coming up. Lara's on the way of this main base, so once more Rogue goes Bane Nest, then Lara. Before any upgrades, so really looking to prioritize again the mutas, I would imagine. Prioritize the mutas and then move into the 1-1 upgrades as GuMiho on the other side is going to crank out a bunch of Marines. He is going to add a 4th and 5th racks down, so no 3rd CC. This is just going to be a 2-base all-in from GuMiho. I kind of like it. And the 1 engineering bay is somewhat of a sign of this as well, not going double engineering bay. 1 engineering bay really is, again, that whole idea of just powering up a little bit. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a very powerful time, and sorry, this medevac is being active. A very powerful time where you will have a 1 upgrade lead, What you need to do is win the game with it, though, because as soon as double upgrades finish for the Zerg, that's already them catching up. You just need to do good damage with this upcoming attack, and that's just kind of a must-do at this stage. So that's what we'll watch out for here, is this medevac is going to go for a float over into the main base, cycling a couple of Marines unloaded, and then picking back up and flying away. The Marines and medevacs over here are going to start making their way forward and just going to pick off a couple creep tumors as they go. So good few creep tumors going down. That Spore Crawler taking some damage, but the Marines do back away from it. Now, a couple more Zerglings being picked off once again. As our upgrades continuing. I mean, right now what you want to do is just slow Rogue as much as possible. And what I imagine is happening is that GuMiho is focusing here, because he wants to keep the creep spread away from this position, because this is where he's going to position his push, and he's going to go from here into this third base, and that's basically what he's going to work with, so he can work against as little creep spread as possible to give himself the best possible chance. Man, this first push is terrifying. Bane speed, not ready. 1-1 upgrades, not ready. Rogue building Burrow, an investment that's probably not going to pay off here either. Maybe later on it will, but right now, I don't see it. This first push is very scary. The only issue I would say for GuMiho perhaps is that the tank being on that high ground here is great for certain control of the map, but it's not really going to help where the Ling Bane's going to come in from. Massive counterattack, but I mean, in theory, well, first of all, in theory, there's actually just a massive army here from GuMiho, so not going to be able to do much even if you did get in. But there's also just a full wall off because this is just 2 bases. As Rogue on 68 drones needs to just crank out the army. These few Banes kind of... Ah, no! No, 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 no! These few Banes were meant to just be picked off, and then GuMiho took a step towards them, move commanding rather than attacking. And that obviously backfires that little bit, as we are going to be seeing even more Banelings setting up. Ling, Bane, Queen. Settling down in the front. We do see these tanks and libs continue to siege up right now. Ling's still taking some damage, and these Queens being picked away out. We're going to pull these Marines back a little bit, and the Ling Bane continues to roll on through. The siege tank gets taken down. Good split from GuMiho. 1-1 upgrades are done from the Zerg, so definitely having a bit of an advantage with both the upgrades versus no upgrades. But GuMiho needs to get rid of these Banelings. Target fire maybe. Gets rid of one. There's one that's looking to connect. He has cheated. Just ends up splitting at the end. He has an army supply lead, but I feel like a lot of that's in medevacs, and he needs the reinforcements to show up. Honestly, if this group of Marines hadn't died, that might have been the difference. If those, like, 8 Marines are still around. Can you imagine? Because this was a close fight. Imagine you have 8 extra Marines throughout the entirety of it. It seems like a small thing, but it goes such a long way. These Lings go down very quickly, though, as Rogue attacks before Banelings are ready. Now GuMiho has to just get rid of these Banes. Oh, he misses the pickup, and he gets shot down. The full medevac dies. And a lot of momentum breakers going on. A lot of reasons for GuMiho to end up not being successful with this attack, as it does seem as though Rogue is going to be getting into just too strong of a position here in the end. Wow. It's kind of crazy, guys. Kind of crazy. Liberator is building up here from GuMiho in the main base. As Marines stem forward, a couple of Queens taking some damage. The Ling Bane wanting to roll forward there as well. He set up a lib, though. That lib just going to provide some coverage as those Marines are chilling out here as well. And in we go. We're going to try and chase a Queen down. This is the big fight to basically try and win the game, as GuMiho has to kite on backwards. He doesn't have any splash damage anymore, so it's just a matter of just hoping his Marines can overpower in the end, but don't think it's going to happen. You need a bit of splash damage here for this, and Rogue is going to clean up for game 2. Time is up, and we are going to go the distance for the first time in the playoffs, as Rogue goes 1-1 with... You know, what you did last week isn't going to suddenly give Solar more information than he already has, you know? I just like your positive thinking that GuMiho is just saving his builds for the grand final of this tournament already. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to get through Rogue. I'm going to get through Zest. I'm going to be in the finals, and I expect to see Solar. I just like the positivity behind... I like the positivity behind that idea, you know? I feel like that's what we should run with, actually. Top left, our blue Terran player. We do have GuMiho. In case he wasn't powered up enough So far, Toilet Brush in the chat says, GuMiho, take my energy. So GuMiho, you're not just fighting alone here, you're also fighting with the energy of the Toilet Brush. Just imagine GuMiho waving a Toilet Brush at Rogue, being like, ha ha! Finally! It's the next power level I've been searching for all these years. You're truly, you're truly done for now. Rogue is cowering in his boots over here. Not the Toilet Brush. The Tau Terran now has a Toilet Brush. Oh my goodness. He's getting all of the bathroom accessories. Oh my god. What's even next? Who actually throws a kitchen sink at Rogue? So then he can throw everything and the kitchen sink at him? Who knows? Who knows? At this point, anything is possible, guys. Anything is possible. Reaper coming up. As you see, our hatchery is going to be on its way on the natural. What event was it where the booth fell over on GuMiho? It was in Pro League. And he was playing against, I want to say he was playing against Hero, maybe? But yeah, it was in Pro League. Who was he playing against? I've got the video here already. He's playing against Zest. I knew it was a Protoss player. It didn't make sense because GuMiho was on CG. That's what I was thinking. When I said Hero, I was like, well, it doesn't make sense because he was on CG, I'm pretty sure as well. Yeah, that was that was kind of a crazy one, actually. Yeah. Good old memories of booths falling on our pro players. Reaper Grenade is gonna bop a queen backwards, but not really do too much. Keeps off the third base a little longer. Just in case I wanted to go there to defend or something, but I don't think we're really seeing anything too substantial, honestly, right now. A little bit of crew spread coming down. Drones are on the way up. Our Hellions coming through, and our starport from GuMiho in this bottom corner of the map is gonna be seen by Rogue. So that's an amazing scout, because now you know there's likely a medevac or so on the way. And however, no, Ling speed once again, and this time it's two Hellions making the early game dive. The Lings get there though, and the Queens put good damage out, and the Hellions get turned around. But some lost mining time, and that's got to be accounted for. You know, as it turns back into the Queens, and that's a little bit of a mistake. Yeah, you got to account for lost mining time. At this stage of the game, a full mineral line disappearing for a few seconds is substantial. So of course, going to be like, oh, a medevac, cool, I know exactly where this is going. And Ling speed's moments away from finishing as well, so I don't know if these Hellions are going to be able to get too much done, although they can fight the Lings, and what's Ling speed if you don't have Zerglings? Two drones, lift up into the medevac. I mean, at least you got a few Lings out of it, but I feel like that wasn't really meant to be the full power-up of this. We're going to build a Viking before we get rid of this starport, or lift up this starport and take it home, so a Viking will pop and chase down this Overlord. And meanwhile, this medevac is already escaping away over through the right-hand side of the map. Loading once again as you come through, and one drone goes down. A little pick off as we see this medevac is continuing to be pushed on out of here. I'm gonna go pick off this Overlord here, so I mean, Viking actually putting in some work. This is already its second kill of the game, so actually Viking doing very well for itself. Yeah, gonna stick to this good old bio play, GuMiho. Like I say, the mech god plays bio. This best of 3. Third CC on the way up, nicely timed. Work count isn't crazy for Rogue either. He's only on 4 workers, you know, in advantage. So in that regard, GuMiho is actually pretty well set up. These roaches aren't going to do much either. Rogue built a few of these, and there's already a tank and double bunker here, so they ain't doing anything. They're just going to get turned around instantly. Back through the center of the map, they will end up moving. And these few Hellions gonna go back themselves towards the top side of the map, and we see 1-1 upgrades coming up, siege tank coming through, and a reactor all building. Obviously, our bunkers get to salvage here, and Rogue is just in full-on drone mode. Droning up to 68. We're just talking about how he's only 4 workers ahead, and now he's 20 ahead. The power of Zerg. As he drops Aspire, and he just had the double Evo chambers finishing too, so he can get upgrades and mutas and just really play into this Ling Bane muta style, which is what it seems as though he's just wanted to play throughout this. So setting up exactly for that. It's going to be seen our Banelings. Our Baneling mass coming through, and the Spire on the way up as well. So just getting all of this rolling, the 1-1 upgrades coming in on Evo chambers. And this army of GuMiho wanting to make a push down. So, wanted to move somewhere. Didn't really quite find a position to attack on into just yet. Ends up turning it around and backing it away for the moment. So, I don't mind it. You look at the amount of Marines he had, it wasn't a lot. And he's obviously just moments away from 1-1 combat shield. So, more so just trying to get into an initial position more than anything else. He is going to take this fight against slow Banelings. Baneliness is only just finishing. So, you can morph Banes, but no Bane speed. He's going to be up on upgrades. I mean, in theory, this fight is looking very good for GuMiho. Even if the tanks don't get siege, if he just stims and fights, he's got Hellbats to help as well. When he starts lifting up, I don't like that. I feel like the worst thing GuMiho could do was just actually not try and fight that. Like, he's got 2 Hellbats, and if the problem was, like, Rogue jumped on it, and GuMiho didn't have his tanks ready to siege, and that's fine though. I think he could have just fought there. Like, with the Hellbats to help against the Lings? Am I just being crazy with an upgrade lead? I feel like the worst thing you could do was lift up half the army. Like, if you could lift up everything and evacuate, fair enough, because then you're going to save everything. And, okay, maybe a missed opportunity, worst case. But best case, you know, the fight wasn't going to go your way, and you did save yourself. In this situation, you just kind of put your army in half for no reason at all. And then you lose half that army, and then you still try and do something with the other half, given time for the mutas to come out and now clean up everything, and it just feels this shouldn't have been such a simple situation for Rogue. I think that was GuMiho just falling into a little bit of, I think he was just genuinely scared. I want to go back and watch that again and see if he just didn't pick up what it might have looked like. I honestly think worst case scenario is you trade evenly or decently against the Zerg right there. There's no way. Like, down in upgrades, Lings, I mean, maybe a couple of Ravager Bowls are good. Maybe that's what you're scared of, Ravager Bowls connecting, because obviously Ravager Bowls are going to be pretty powerful in a situation where they can, you know, where the Lings have a full surround or so. That might have been it. I'm going to do a little rewind when this game wraps up to have a look, because it's definitely worth looking at, as we do just have our siege, our command center lifting up and relocating. I mean, now Rogue has freedom, though. 2-2 upgrades, plenty more mutas. He's going to try and find all of the openings he can with these mutas, here, there, and everywhere. See if he can get anything done with all of those. It's back to the middle. We do see our Bane's going to go rolling around the top side. Just flying on through and just going to go hitting this mineral line. I mean, the problem for GuMiho is he's got no map control. You know, if you're not on the map pressuring the Zerg is just free to do as they wish. And if the Zerg is free to do as they wish, that generally ends very, very well for them, as Marines and Thor stand there and push those mutants back. We're going to see Lings around the top side trying to make their way in as well. As that Ghost Academy still on up, so he's at least preparing for the late game, which I guess is the best thing you can do. If you're going to sit back and not be able to be on the map, you better go out and start putting the pressure on, right? Makes sense. We As you see, meters continuing into the main base. A couple of shots on the Overseer as you do have our couple of cleanups coming through. Big attack, though, from Rogue on the right-hand side. Siege tank going down, and the rest of these Banes rolling in. Marines ran past the Banelings to survive. It's a unique strategy, but it worked out this time as the meters are going to find themselves on top of the engineering base. Do you finish off the one upgrading? Upgrade only just started, so it actually wouldn't be that big of a kill. GuMiho turns it away, but of course Rogue just has an insane economy, so he can just rebuild from this so easily. And uh-oh, all the siege tanks just got found. That's not good, is it, guys? All 4 siege tanks there going down, and that's a lot of the splash damage that will now just not be around to help GuMiho any further. And it does feel as though Rogue is just a couple of headbutting attacks away from closing this out and taking this series home and moving through to the semifinals, where he would play Zest in a bit of PvZ action. Looking to be the semifinal. It should be a good semifinal, actually. Rogue Zest, always a good bit of fun, usually. There's no thought coming through. Just going to see everything lifting up. Now, Lingbane Ravager continues over. Tank fires. Lings and Banes taking some hits. Thor drops down, and that's just going to sit in the front and try and tank some shots. Is soaking some Banelings. Is it enough, though? Oh, no. Well, there's the rest of the Banelings. And they are just hitting on anything and everything they can find. Again, Rogue is rich enough that he doesn't really care too much about how these trades go. As long as he kills off a reasonable amount of Terran, it's okay, because he knows his rebuild will just do that much more. And he's on his way to Ultras now as well, and I don't know if we've got much of an answer to Ultras. There's no Ghost on the map yet. We saw that Ghost Academy start, but GuMiho's never had the freedom and the safety to put it to use, unfortunately. Midlusks are going to make their way around the left-hand side. This is a good trade for GuMiho. Yeah, I mean, the trade's alright, right? He's trading efficiently, but the problem is he's on 4 bases while Rogue has the entire map and 90 drones. Is there a world where Rogue does this a few too many times? Maybe. I guess one thing is he's not necessarily stopped GuMiho's economy much. Like, GuMiho has kept mining throughout this, I suppose, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that really makes too much of a difference, as we're going to see all of these extra lings coming through. The Ultralisk Cavern still coming up. Just diving onto some SCVs, getting some Marines as they go as well. More Marines chasing out there. Here we go with Banes moving through. They're going to go and get on top of some of these SCVs as well, perhaps. As, I mean, the problem is you just don't have the money to rebuild repeatedly, whereas Rogue does. And that's why you can trade inefficiently into these positions and all of that. And again, like, there is a world in which if Rogue really does just do this a bit too much, but I think Rogue has a very good understanding of what he can get away with here, and that's obviously what's, that's obviously what's happening. You just get stuck on 4 bases, you only have so many SCVs. You can only build so much. I want to take a quick rewind. I really want to go look at the start of this game again, just quickly have a peek at that first attack that GuMiho lifted up from. I went a little far forward, far back, but that's okay. Happened over here. Okay, so this is the first push. He pulls back a second or two. Great. And this is the push. 1-1 combat. Okay, 1-1's not done. 1-1's like 5 seconds away. 1-1's, he stims, he fights. I honestly think if he has the other tanks unloaded, because these Hellbats are going to deal well with the Lings on the other side, right? But now he lifts them up. And now it's a full surround that looks bad. But imagine you have Hellbats being healed on the left side. I'm still afraid of the Biles, I guess. It was tough decision. I feel like it's definitely better to trade, though,